Hello, I'm Tanner Gudauskas, and today we're gonna give a little look at my quiver that I've collected over the last couple of years and what I'm kind of riding on my everyday, day-to-day surfs around town. This is the kind of stuff I just have in my garage at all times, sometimes in my car at all times. I would say most recently has been, this is the new G-skate from Channel Islands. Pat, Dane, and I worked on this together. This board, I don't want to oversell it, but this board is insane. Paired with the Merrick Gudauskas fin is definitely my favorite, 2+1. It's the Spine Tech, it's so light, it feels so responsive under my feet. It just has a really fun like straight rail here, and it has that little hip and kinks to another straight rail. So when you're able to get your foot right over that 2+1, the big twin fin, you get so much drive, so much control, and so much pivot. Highly recommend this for your summer quiver. It was so exciting to ride this in Hawaii because I just truly didn't know what to expect. When we were designing it, we were thinking more California surf, like smaller waves, like maybe less power. And we took a batch over and we were working with like Imai Kailani, and Mikey Febbs was over there, Reef Hazelwood, Luke Swanson, and we were just passing around these boards, kind of all of us trying it out and seeing what it felt like. And it responded so well. We had this one session at Honolulu that had to have been like 8 to 10 feet. And Imai had so much control in the pocket. And to me, it was eye-opening. You know, like this board works really well in small waves. However, it also has a knack to do some amazing surfing in big waves too. So it's kind of a Swiss Army knife, you know, but it was originally designed for small waves. So Hawaii was just a blast to see how far you could push it. And at that point, kind of like keep your mind up and be like, oh, I'll ride it at Pipe, I'll ride it in Honolulu, and ride it at sunset. You just want people to have fun and go surf and ride boards in small waves, and it happens to be in good waves too, but like just get out in the water and enjoy. So this fin's, it's definitely all arounder. You know, I've been riding Channel Islands since I was 13, and so that's 21 years. Being able to be a Grom on the team in that era where Kelly and Rob and Taylor and Tim and all of these incredible California surfers were involved, we like soaked every second of that up, and it really made us who we were. We, you know, definitely were under the influence of Dane Reynolds, who was on the team, and Bobby Martinez, and so now to be seeing where it's at, we're a little bit older on the team, and Britt's come back in. He is at the helm and he's crushing it. He's doing such a good job, and it feels like there's such a rejuvenated energy there at the brand, and really cool. Everybody that works at the warehouse is a family. We've known most everybody since we were there in the very beginning, and I think everyone's really proud to see where it's at right now and putting a lot of work into it. And you know, seeing fresh designs like the G-skate, like the CI Pro, the Pro 2, the former board, the Bobby Quad, the Free Scrubber. I think it speaks to the team working with Britt and working with Channel Islands to make the very best boards and get people stoked. And this is kind of the crown jewel of my garage at the moment, which is this MP surfboard that I got this off Craigslist. You can see right here, designed by Michael Peterson. It's an MP surfboard that Tom Survey bought, I think in like the mid 90s on the Gold Coast in a surf shop when he was over there shooting photos at the time, and kept it. He didn't really know what he was keeping it for. He said he thought maybe one day Tom Curran would surf it, but then he ended up needing a downsize quiver, and he put it on Craigslist. So I just found this as a listing, live listing on Orange County Craigslist, and tracked it down, and then found out that it was Tom, and we had a really good laugh about that. And so I bought it, and to be honest, was so nervous riding it because it's such a beautiful board, and it's a single fin, but I just snapped the seal on it, and I figured that MP would have wanted somebody to be surfing it, and this board is so fun. It's really taught me a lot about how I'm surfing and how I should be trusting the rails of my surfboards, and it's really opened up a lot of doors for me. So yeah, so this is actually the board that was featured in the first episode from our series Finders Keepers. And you know, after I was probably about like 5 or 6 years ago, once I started like kind of after doing all the contests and stuff, I really wanted to open up all these doors with different equipment, and I just started looking on Craigslist, and to me, it was the most affordable way to just day of, like, look at something, be interested in it, and go meet up with somebody and buy it. I really have been enjoying Finders Keepers, so this is from the first episode. This right here is another board that was in another episode from Finders Keepers. This last season in Hawaii, I got Dane, my brother, Pat Rawson board. My dad used to work for Locomotion back in the 90s, and we had always kind of been pretty familial with Pat Rawson, and so I wanted to surprise him. And so when we went to pick up the board, he was talking a bunch about these old logos and some of these old shapes from back in the day. And I was all inspired, so I started looking on Facebook Marketplace and OfferUp and found this in Mililani. And it was a lady who was just selling it. It was like her neighbor's dad who didn't want it anymore. And it's honestly kind of mint condition. Like, it looks so beautiful. Just the most quirky small fin thruster. So each episode of Finders Keepers, like, you start with a fun looking board, and then it just dives you into learning so much more about the culture behind it. And that's been super fun. Finders Keepers is, you know, it's a video series that myself and Alex have been working on, buying boards from different places or trading to get boards, and just using like Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace or OfferUp, like places that are essentially public domain that anybody could find the boards, and then turning each individual purchase into a story, because every surfboard has a story within it. Whether the person who had it had a great ride on it, had a great experience with it, the shaper who shaped it, what's their story, you know, the waves that it was surfed in. I think I've come to find that most important surf culture gets passed through surfboard design, and it unlocks so much for everybody. And so, you know, I've been collecting a lot of different boards over the past couple of years, and to me it's awesome because it focuses myself to learn about different pockets in time in surfing, and it doesn't have to just be something within the surfboard design. It can also be the community that was riding it, or you know, the people who are selling it. So it's just been so fun, and I hope we can keep doing it. And that kind of leads me into this next one, is the episode that we're working on right now, which, you know, I moved down to Oceanside like about 5 or 6 years ago, and I've really just had a different viewpoint in the surf scene down here, which is really cool. And Benway is a guy who was shaping on Oceanside through the 90s, 2000s for guys like Eric McHenry, Zach Reinhart, Gavin Sutherland, Derek Bockelman, and they created this design in the 50-50 wave skate. Kind of self-explanatory on that, but he was really trying to mesh what they were doing in the skate park on the waves, and this board is insane. Like, definitely the most unique thing I'm taking into the water these days. This will be coming out soon. This is our newest Positive Vibe Warrior softboard model. This is called the Jam. Patrick, Dane, and I designed this with Mike Andrews, who shapes the majority of our Channel Island surfboards. And, you know, we had the concept to have it be the one-stop shop. So a mom or a dad could surf and get plenty of waves on it. They could push their kid in on it. They could have a blast. They could ride like boogie tandem. And, you know, just being able to ride it the last few days, it's so light and so durable, and the board does surf very well. But with us at Positive Vibe Warrior Softboards, we're really proud that these are made in the US. These are actually made from recyclable foam. And so you could drill a hole through this because it's closed cell copolymer foam, and it won't suck water, it won't rot out. So it's a huge difference for us, and we feel really just proud of it. You know, being in the softboard space, it feels good to be kind of trying to put our foot forward for an eco-friendly board and give a consumer that chance to ride something and know that it's kind of a benefit and it's not going to end up in a landfill. This over here is a really special board. This is it's a pretty limited collection, I think. It's the former Channel Islands collection collab board. I'm a humongous Dane Reynolds fan. We've been on the Vans team with him for so long, and he's just been so influential for me through surfing, and just the way he does things, the way he surfs, the way he approaches most everything I really do like and take a lot of inspiration. You can see that the board is so straight from the tail block all the way to the midpoint. It rides really unique. It drives, it gets a ton of speed. It's funny that I took the pad off of it too, because I was thinking that it's a collectible. That board in the back is a really cool Craigslist find. This right here is a Herbie Fletcher. I don't even know how to describe the design of it. It's like I would guesstimate 7.5 feet thruster. I bought this off Craigslist, and it was funny because on the Craigslist photo, I remember it had like, the shot was like from here to like here. So you could tell the board was worn in. You could see that it had the Herbie arrow, but you didn't really know where it was on the board. And I started texting back and forth with the person. It was $150. And I was so interested because I really wanted to get a Herbie. I've known the Fletchers for so long. I've been on Astrodeck for like almost 20 years, and they're the very best. I think that the Fletcher family, to me, is like the very pinnacle of surf culture and surf radness. And so I always wanted a kind of an heirloom board to have, and texting back and forth with the person, and they were saying like, oh, Herbie shaped me a couple boards during this time. I'm normally a longboarder, and we rock up to the house, and it's Joyce Hoffman comes out of the house, and I am so blown away. So we had this really, really cool moment getting to meet Joyce for the first time. I feel like if it didn't have the pad, I probably normally would have ridden it with my foot further up, but because of the pad, it's a familiar feeling. So I put my foot pretty far back, and it definitely turns around in the pocket pretty well. Through the Finders Keepers episodes, and really just through trying as many different boards as I can, it has really opened my mind to what I think surfing is, and really almost makes me look at it more for enjoyment. You know, like I felt like when I was doing the contest, you kind of were getting a score so you could see if a board felt good or not. And now, you know, I'll take like a half sawed off surfboard out on a good day at lowers, and I'm not like trying to do a bunch of rad turns on it. I'm just trying to like be involved with how the board feels on the wave, almost like a dance in a way, and working with the equipment more and feeling the wave more. So it's opened up that side that I think is more of like the elixir of what surfing should be, which is just going out. Nobody should tell you how you can or cannot do it, and just enjoy it. So, you know, you just apply it with all the different boards. It could be it could be an egg, it could be a single fin, it could be a twin fin, you know, and each board is almost highlighting the personality within your surfing style. And I love that. I've been so switched on by that. And I feel like now that the cat's out of the bag, I don't think I could ever go back to the way I thought before.